Hey guys, so today we will do a review on Revature. Now some background information about Revature is it's been founded in 2003 and they are headquartered in 2 locations. So they have a location in the US, which is in Reston, Virginia, and they also have one in India, which is in Chennai. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. And it looks like their CEO as of March 2024 is Tan Morthy. Now if you don't know what Revature is, it's pretty much an IT consulting firm. It's no different than tech consulting, Cognitia, and all these other tech consulting firms that are on LinkedIn. Essentially what that is basically they find talent and they find companies that put out job postings, they put out positions on what type of skills and candidates they are looking for. And essentially what an IT consulting firm is basically matching the skills that these companies are looking for and finding candidates, training them, and basically providing that match. Now that is how traditionally consulting works. With Revature, what they do is basically they look for recent college graduates, and basically what they do is they run some training, some boot camp style training course where they train them on the skills of what their clients are looking for. So whether that would be AWS and Java, they'll train them with that. If the company is looking for a Python developer, they'll train them in Python and so forth. Now, full disclaimer, I've never worked for Revature. I can only speak on the few instances of where I chatted with a recruiter to know what this company is about, but I've never actually worked for them or went through any of their program. The most I've done was just a brief screening that I did not pass. So basically, take what I say in this video with some grain of salt. I mean, most of the stuff is pretty public of what they are. Now, speaking from my experience with them, I've encountered them a couple of times. My first time that I encountered them was in June of 2022. They reached out to me and they asked me if I was interested. They told me what it was, and basically at the time my reasoning why I didn't want to do it was because I would have to relocate, and this was during a time where I just signed my lease, so I couldn't really move anywhere just being 1 month into my lease. So I pretty much just told them, hey, I can't relocate, so this is not gonna work out. And then I had another encounter with a different recruiter in January of 2023 where I was actually considering it because I graduated college in the spring of 2022, so I graduated in May, and at that time I was in no rush to relocate, and at that time I was pretty freshly graduated and I was optimistic that I would find a job over the summer in tech, so there was no rush. So the second encounter that I had with them was in January of 2023. 6 months have passed by and I still couldn't find a job. I've been interviewing, but there was no luck in getting a position anywhere. So I was really considering getting a job with them. They had me do an interview, like a technical screening, where they basically had me do a video telling them about myself with 4 technical questions after it. And I think I failed the technical part because they didn't offer me the traditional 10 weeks of training. Instead, they were having me they would train me in order for me to be onboarded onto their entry-level positions. So this was during the time where I was actually in communication with Cognitia, and they basically were ready to onboard me with their training. So I ended up just pursuing the Cognitia route, which at that time was the better decision. So from the looks of it, they do look for recent college graduates to onboard them into the entry-level positions where they do run a 10-week where they train you on the skills that you need in order to work for one of their clients. But they also have a different route where if you're a junior developer, if you have some experience, you don't need to go through that training, and they immediately just put you on to interview with their clients. At least that's what I think. I've never actually done it, but they reached out to me recently in August of 2025, so that's 3 months ago from when this video is being uploaded, and basically they asked me if I was interested, but I currently have a job that I'm pretty satisfied with, so I kind of just wanted to see what this is about. So I kind of just answered them and asked them, hey, what type of role is this? Is this a contract role? Is it a full-time role? Basically told me that it's a full-time role, that they only run the 10-week course with their entry-level developers. So it looks like they have another option for the junior developers with some experience already. I've seen some mixed reviews on Revature online. Now, I've seen that they have a contract where you have to commit 2 years in working for them, and they pretty much relocate you anywhere. Now, this is no different than tech consulting and Cognitia. I would say it's more similar to tech consulting because with Cognitia, you were working remotely for the training, so that's the only difference I would say. I think they pay you minimum wage depending on what state you're in, and I think they relocate you anywhere, so I don't think you have much of a say where you want to relocate to or where you want to work for. I know for Cognitia, you could put some suggestions or kind of indicate which region you want to, and they'll consider it, so they'll try to line you up with that as your first option. But I'm not sure how it is for Revature. I know for tech consulting, you didn't have much of a say where you were to be relocated, at least maybe. I think I've asked, but they maybe would have taken it into consideration, but I'm not sure how it works for Revature. And basically, same with Cognitia and tech consulting. If you breach their contract, meaning if you decide that once you sign on to the contract, if you decide later on while you're still within the 2 years that this isn't for you, that you want out, you do have to pay a fine, you do have to pay a penalty. You're basically breaching the contract, so I don't know what that fee is. I know it's in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, maybe $10,000. That was the same for Cognitia and tech consulting. The reason they do this is because they're investing in you and they want serious candidates, someone who's not going to waste their time. And also, they're using up their resources. They have trainers training you, so they want a return on the investment. Now, my thoughts on Revature, I don't have any negative or positive thoughts necessarily. It's just a business that is helping companies find candidates that fit their needs. And for some people, it may be in their best interest to pursue Revature to get their foot in the door in tech, especially now with how the job market is. But the contract is a little bit iffy because you are locked in for 2 years. For 2 years of your life, you don't have much of a say where you get to work, how much you get paid. That is a big con of working for Revature, I would say. But if you can make it work, you can make it work. As for the junior devs, I don't know exactly if they have a contract or anything because they don't go through any training from what it looks like. It looks like they get interviewed directly with the client, so I don't know how that works for junior devs or maybe senior devs. Now that will conclude the video for today. Give me a follow if you found this useful. I plan to make more tech-oriented videos, and if you're looking for a job in tech, I highly recommend joining the hunt on X, formerly known as Twitter. There's a lot of great mentors in there, people that work at FAANG companies that give really great feedback and advice on your job hunting skills. There's many great mentors on there, many great teachers, I would say. So definitely give that a shot. They do host spaces, so you can directly hop in and request a mic and ask questions. So definitely take a look at that. Definitely look into that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.